Today we are going to be talking about fatherhood and the importance of having a father figure in your life. Joining me in this conversation is none other than Pastor Edward Ngairi. Karibu sana to K24 Alfajiri.
Asante
Very
sana.
Lost, my friend.
Well, I don't feel lost, because I watch K24 and I watch this show.
Oh, thank you.
Every morning.
Thank you very much.
So you're my friends. I almost feel like I've just been here last week.
Your family.
This is family.
Okay. Did you watch the game last night?
Yes, I did.
Which team are you supporting?
I didn't have very strong feelings, but I was happy that France won.
Thank you. Wakanda forever. Yeah, we're just so
you should have had a deeper blue.
Yeah, I really tried to look for a deeper blue in my closet, and this is all that I could find. So I was like, it's okay.
Yes.
I'm just going to rock this one.
Is the other team supporting, are they crying about Croatia?
They're crying. Jeff Mott has been sobbing the entire morning, but it's okay.
Tell him sorry.
He is a man. He will get over it. We're so happy to have you.
Thank you.
Today we're talking about a father and, the importance of just having a father figure in your life.
That's right.
And you are a father.
I am a father of 3 beautiful girls.
Yes.
Abigail, my 1999 version. Deborah, my 2004 version.
Okay.
And Neema, my 2008 version. And I'm so happy that God gave me those girls. I mean, it was 3 years after our marriage that Abigail, the firstborn, came. So it was not easy coming.
Yeah.
And then it was 5 years apart between Abigail and Deborah.
Yeah.
And for no explained reason, I just did not know. And I usually say that God planned it that way. So 3 years into the marriage, no child. And 5 years after the firstborn, then the second girl came. And 4 years after the second one, the third one came. So they're spaced out like that.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I usually jokingly say that these are the people that I love with all my heart, with all my lungs, with all my pancreas, with everything that I have.
Yeah.
And I'm prepared to die for those people. I mean, I love my daughters.
Oh, that's amazing.
And the other thing I usually say is that I live in a girls' dormitory. Yeah, I'm the only boy.
Surrounded by 4.
In a girls' dormitory. So, I have to play the role of a father to girls.
Absolutely.
God did not give me sons.
Yeah.
But I can just imagine the levels of energy that are needed.
Absolutely.
Raising
to
up
keep
sons.
up with them.
Yes. But my girls are the most gracious human beings that God gave to me, and I really treasure them.
Wow.
And so, yeah, that's my family. And one of my daughters really follows you personally. Oh, wow. Yes, she watched the last time I was here.
Oh, wow.
And she told me, Tesh, she's an actor.
Yes, I am.
So she knows a lot about you.
She knows a lot about me.
Yes.
Please say hi to her and tell her to come through to
I'll
the studio.
say hi to Abigail sometime. I'll bring
Okay.
her. She's growing tall like yourself.
Okay, perfect. And we can just get her here on this particular chair.
Yes, I wish you could.
But let's talk about you. What changed after you became a father?
Yes, I think that one of the most impactful experiences that I had is going into that labor ward. And I know there's a big debate about whether fathers should go to the labor ward or not. I had that discussion here some time back. And I managed to go these 3 times to the labor ward. It's not every time that I went to the delivery room. But I think that there's a special bond when you meet this human being that God used you to co-create with your wife and together with him for the first time. Because my memories of 1999, March 21st, when Abigail was born, was I had a love for a child that I had never experienced before. I felt compassions and concerns and just loving care for this new human being that had come into the world, such that I had never experienced before. So it was very impactful. It impacted me in such a way that when I came on matatus to town from the hospital, I was looking at this huge population of people and saying, I have great respect for mothers, that they go through that kind of pain and they go through that kind of process and bring forth a life. I thought about my late mother so much and I had maximum respect for her and for my wife and for many, many women who have given birth. And so it really made an impact for me to be in that delivery room. And of course, after waiting for a child for 3 years, it was really something that you marvel. It's a miracle. And I would hold my baby. And because I'm the priest of my home, I lifted her for a very long time and just dedicated her to God. and prayed over her in my hands like that for a long, long time. And I was just connecting with this child, you know. And for me, I think that that whole process of waiting and also touching the mother's tummy when the baby was there and feeling the kick. And sometimes you would sense that the child is excited to hear your voice. There was a connection that it still exists today. I'm vitally connected to my girls. And I really love to spend time with them and just go out an extra mile for them. So it's a very impactful thing to be a father.
Were you prepared for this new role? Were you hands-on? Did you know what to do as a father of a girl? And now, eventually, these beautiful 3 girls.
What I think I was not prepared for was the process of the pregnancy. Because, you know, the different appetites of the mother. And she would send me for mangoes, and my male mind will tell me fruits. So I brought all sorts of different fruits, and she would reject them. And then I went and got apples. She would reject them. She said, I wanted mangoes. And I went and got some big mangoes from Mombasa. She says, not this type. And I tried some other types of mangoes. She said, not this type. Then I found some almost raw, before ripe mangoes. And she says, these are the ones, the crispy ones. And so that appetite thing, a craving for different foods at that time confused me. But I went through it gladly. And then, of course, when the child was born, the firstborns usually, we excessively pour love on them and lavish them. And I think that happened to Abigail because she was the only child for 5 years. And so the adoration, the attention, every little cough, you run into the hospital. And, you know, Dr. Malavo, who is the pediatrician, we were always at his door, you know, at the center. So, I mean, that extra attention is, you know, is the kind of thing that I think that came with my inexperience because I was too overprotective and just too oversensitive over this child. And I felt like, you know, some of that, as I look back, I think that it was not completely necessary. But I think it was good for her because you should see that 19-year-old girl with me in town today. She walks in my arms, and I take her on a date.
There's no better feeling than that.
It's a great feeling.
Now, and the reason why I asked you, actually, when we came up with this particular topic of discussion, I was so excited because there's this new term that people are using, and we've become so comfortable with it. This is daddy issues. And you'd hear someone say, okay, she's behaving like that because of daddy issues, or he's behaving like that because of daddy issues. And you as a father, how important is it to have a father figure for both the boy child and the girl child in their life as they're growing?
Actually, Tesh, you make me go back in my crusade. I have been at weddings, I have been speaking to couples, I've spoken to women. And one of the things that I keep observing is that there's a growing phenomena in Kenya and in Africa in general. Something that we all know, single motherhood. Mothers are raising children single-handedly with absent fathers for many various reasons that we can discuss. But you find fathers who are absent from their children, both boys and girls. It's a great disservice to those children because those girls and those boys, let me say about girls need to know how a man relates with a woman as they watch their husband and wife relate. And boys also need to see that so that eventually they can know how to relate with their own relationships later on. Then they're not goofing. They're not making their mistakes and saying the daddy issues. The absenteeism is largely to blame. And sometimes the absenteeism can actually happen while the dad is in the house because he's too busy. He's busy gone for business, comes home late or maybe comes next week. And when he comes home, he's tired. He wants to watch his football or want to just go and sleep. He has no time to really interact with the girls and the boys. And so you find that there's a deficiency of teaching because, you see, we are role models. And in role modeling, we teach consciously and unconsciously. We need to verbally express concepts to the children. and we need to express them in the way we act and live out our lives so that they can observe the tone of our voice, the way we handle circumstances, difficult ones and easy ones, happy moments and sad moments. How does daddy and mommy handle these situations? Then they can learn from that. But if you're gone, you're always 33,000 feet above sea level, flying to another country. How will the children know what you think about certain things? And so in my work as a preacher, I sometimes make it my duty to just take along my children because I can be busy. I can be gone to the next meeting and the next meeting and the next meeting and teaching children of other people, but forgetting my own children. And my own children are my first and primary responsibility and ministry. And so I take them along. I say, let's go, so that they hear what I think about the different subjects that I teach about. And somebody has called me the radio missionary of Kenya because I've been on radio for like 23 years. I ask my children to listen to what I'm speaking on radio. And they do listen. And some of them, I find that my children actually imitate me.
Oh, wow.
They act out how daddy preaches.
Yes.
It's so hilarious to see that. And so it's a joy. I think that you cannot repeat this process because in their 20s, then they begin to go into college and off they go into marriage. You not have the opportunity to have made an impact in the lives of your children. And you need to.
Absolutely.
You cannot afford to lose that opportunity.
Absolutely.
It's priceless.
Yes. And even as we're talking about absent fathers, there's a modern way of parenting where it's e-relationship, e-bonding, e-parenting, where everything is done through social media or a phone call. It might be a WhatsApp call, Skype, and this person is all over the place. But just because I bring money, I bring food to the table, that's enough. And I think we just need to understand the role of a father, because I think most of this young generation, what they think fatherhood is all about is providing monetary support, and that's all. Unless
for the fear of being lynched by the young people, I want to let you know that my daughters have dragged me onto Instagram. I am on Facebook. I am on, they don't use Twitter. I'm on Twitter. But I chat with them on WhatsApp and all this. Sometimes I just deliberately chat with my daughters on WhatsApp. But, you know, you can never replace presence. Just being there with your children. You can never replace that presence. They will need it. Participate in what they're doing. Be there with them in their social media and all that. But that should not replace my quality time with my children. I need to pray with them. I need to show them that, you know, in school, I'll be there for the functions. And it's very sad, you know, when you go to schools, you see the mothers are there. But usually fathers are absent. And so when I speak at functions in schools and when I go, I also really make it an emphasis to really acknowledge the fathers, the men who are there. And I think we need to be there during the special days, the birthdays, the school occasions, and when the children are going through hard times. The other day, my daughter was telling me, Dad, I just feel sad. And I had to pause. And I had to find out what is it that is making you feel sad. And so I found out there's some other girls in school that were really making life difficult for my daughters. There's some time that my elder daughter was having difficulties in school, and I arrived in that. She was in high school, and I arrived in the high school, and she just cried on my chest, and we sat there in the car for a long time. My daughter just cried. And it was not that day that I found out what the issues were. I came again and again and began to understand what it is that she was really grappling with. So, you know, the one-on-one time, again, I make an emphasis that we need to be there. And even though at the very beginning, I mean, later on in life, they might go away, I think that at the foundation stages, we need to spend so much time with our children. And that's why one of the other issues I wanted to raise here is my personal preference is to get children while you're much younger. And I don't mean that when you're 19. No. Like in your mid-20s towards 30s there, I think that you have the energy to do one of the things that I've written down in my little piece of paper here, to play with your children, because that's one of the roles of fatherhood, to play with your children. if you're approaching 50s like I'm approaching, then your energies begin to go down. You can't roll on the carpet and somersault with your boys and begin to play football with them.
Yeah.
But when you're in your 20s, in your 30s and early 40s, you know, you have the energy to play with your children, and they need to feel daddy. They need to feel him playing and being out there in the grass and on the carpet and just doing those things that we call extra curriculum. They're actually the main curriculum, because emotionally you're helping them to balance and to grow up in a nice way and be able to not just understand its books, results, report forms. No. It is all round, even just being there to play. So later on in life, when they've grown up and they're in college, you can safely release them to go. But I can tell you, one of the questions my daughter was asking me just last week, when I was proposing to her, why don't you go to this university abroad? She said, Dad, are you confident to just let me go abroad in a foreign country on my own?
Oh, wow.
And you know, I had to bite my lips. I stumbled at the answer. And I said, you know, I feel something, because the first time I left this country, I was 31. And I'm telling a 20-year-old girl to go into a university far away where there's snow. And she's asking me the question, do you want to let your daughter just go to another country? She made me think deeply. I'm still grappling with that. But at a moment, you know, you've got to let go. There are many other parents who have done it. And I feel like going with her, but I may just need to let her go and experience. But be sure I'll be on the phone with her very many times.
All right. So even as we wind up this particular subject, if you could describe to us who a father is.
Yes, I will describe it in a few words. I think first and foremost, like I was saying here, a father is a procreator.
Okay.
He is the originator of a family. He brings forth the family. I think that a father is a priest of the home. Whatever your religion is, you have to lead your children, you have to be in the forefront leading your children and your entire family in knowing that God and getting that spirituality and knowing the deeper things of your faith. You are the priest of the home. A father is a protector, the one who provides security to the children and to the mother. You cannot expect the mother to be the one closing the door when there's some danger out there. No. The father is the protector to shield from the enemies and the dangers. And even in school, I can remember when one of the schools, my daughter went to boarding school, and there was a fire in the dining. It was 11 in the night. I can tell you 11:15 I was there because it's in Nairobi. Wow. Because we are protectors. You have this instinct to really just protect your children. The father in my description is a provider. We have to provide food, shelter, clothing, and provide that emotional security and give the balance to our children. The father is also a teacher. He plays the role of a teacher. So with all these things that are happening in school, I really think that the fathers should take the role of teaching and not abdicate their responsibilities to the teachers in school and say, tulimpeleka shule, somesho huko ajifunze tabia nzuri. There are some things that are not in that curriculum that only the father and the mother can teach the child. And so with a new approach to education in our country, I'm glad parents are getting more involved in the lives of the children. So play your role as a father and play your role as a playmate to your children. The children need a companion, somebody to play around, to play with and roll in the dust sometimes and on the carpet, as I said, and just play games and just give them that balance and that joy of a home. I don't know whether I can describe 2 or 3 more.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Another one is father is a companion. A companion, so that through the hard times, through the easy times, through the joyous times, daddy is there. At least they can say that in all these moments, I can feel the presence of my father. He was there in my journey. And I really, God help me, I want to be there at my daughter's weddings, the 3 of them, and walk them down the aisle. And so that I escort them into their new life when they start their own families. But from birth, actually from conception into marriage, when they have their own families, that journey, we need to be companions of our children. And beyond that, they still look up to us. I am a counselor, and I still have people who tell me that, you know, I have got problems in my marriage, and one of the things that I've done is that I've gone to talk to my parents about the challenges that I'm having in marriage. So even in your 30s, in your 40s and all this, you are still a companion. Your children, you should be a companion to your children. Just yesterday, my father, who is in his 80s right now, you know, he called me and having a conversation with me. Yeah, I'm the preacher of some other people, but to him, I'm his son, and he's still my companion.
Absolutely.
I adore my father.
Okay.
He's a great man.
Why do you think there's a rise in single parenting right now?
Yes. Single parenting, as I said, is a phenomenon that is growing in Africa and in our country. I think that the marriage institution is on the onslaught of the pressures of society, and actually even just spiritual forces that are against marriage, because if marriage, the unit of marriage and family stands, then we have a strong nation. But because people have decided to really become busy in their careers, busy in trying to make money, and the roles are getting reversed. Traditionally, the woman is the homekeeper, but now you have the professional woman who also contributes to the economy of the house and provision. And so the time spent in the home is less, and so there are conflicts when the man is insecure about what the woman, the kind of men that women are meeting out there, and relationships have got infection of infidelity. We have been infected by unfaithfulness, and so all those reasons combined, you begin to find that marriage institution is breaking, and people are becoming less and less committed to their marriages and their families, and somehow marriages, unfortunately, are breaking, and people, women especially, are ending up. Besides death, you know, widowhood.
Absolutely.
Death is another thing, but that is a natural thing.
And I was just having a conversation with someone yesterday, and you know, they mentioned something very funny, and which got me thinking. They said, you know, like the reason why we have this sponsorship issue is because of daddy issue. You miss that father figure in your life, so that's why you're finding solace or comfort in a much older person. Wow, so we need to step up as a generation and just make sure that you're there for your child, for your girl child, for your boy child. Thank you so much, Pastor Ngairi, for coming through.
Thank you so much.
I'm honored that we've had this conversation today.